think I recorded that one.
Well, mine didn't say recording, but
But do you have a pause the recording button?
yeah,
Mine says it's going to the cloud, so you may have to send it to me. I think that's what happened last time. I recorded it for her, but it went to your cloud, so you have to log into your Zoom and grab
yeah, yeah. We usually do go to our cloud, to the cloud.
it. Just send it to me too. That's always helpful.
Okay, I can do that.
Hey, everybody that's here, welcome, welcome. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to try to make your head not spin too badly with all the technology stuff we're going to talk about. I would love for you to put in the chat where you're from and what you do, because that helps us serve you better. I personally am down here super south. I am in Solomon's Island, Maryland, down at the bottom of one of the legs of Maryland, not on the eastern shore side, down on the other side. 20-minute boat ride to Ocean City, but a 4-hour drive, right? Got to go up one leg and down the other to
Yeah.
get there. So, about an hour outside of Washington, D.C. And my husband and I of 26 years have raised our 7 children in this area. We're just minutes from the Patuxent River, Chesapeake Bay kind of connection area. We have a boardwalk down here in Solomon's Island, but we're not oceanfront like some of you on the Eastern Shore with the beautiful ocean down there. And let's
Uh,
see. And we have 9 grandchildren. So 7 children and 9 grandchildren. Oh, Baltimore City.
well,
That is a beautiful place, too. All right. I love that people are sharing where they're from and what they do. We can get this show on the road. I'm thinking we want to be respectful of these beautiful people's time. Uh,
I think
oh,
so.
for Marvel's not far either.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar this morning. My name is Marvin Jenkins. Some of you might know me as Bunky. And I'm the coordinator for the Women's Business Center for Maryland Capital Enterprises. We're a nonprofit organization, and we help or assist women entrepreneurs who are either starting their business or expanding their existing business. We serve the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. We offer a lot of programs like the webinar that you're on this morning. Plus, we help with business plans, cash flow projections, pretty much any kind of small business uh, help or assistance that's needed. We can at least help with. And when we are recording this, so everybody will get the link to the recording. And when I send that out, you'll also have my contact information. And if you have any questions, you can email me back. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Jessica so we can get started. And Jessica, we really appreciate you. You've done so many of these things for us over the years, and we certainly do appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you go.
Hey everybody, I'm Jessica Koch. I am happy to provide my slides, whether you're watching this on the YouTube channel many months from now, or if you're watching us live right now. If you just reach out to me, I will make sure you get a copy of those slides because there is a lot of information we're going to cover. And what I'm going to ask you to do is, and we'll do this again in the slides, is just take a deep breath and relax and understand that you just have to understand all of this just one tiny baby step at a time. A lot of tech information, a lot of information. We're talking about AI, so it's a bit more. My LinkedIn URL is in the chat. And we are going to get started. Oh, I guess I should tell you just a bit about me. I mentioned that I'm the Italian mother of 7. We have 7 kids and 9 grandkids, but I've been speaking for 25 plus years across the country. I've been invited to national conferences for different parts of our government throughout the country, for Fortune 1000 and their national associations, power companies, hospitals, universities, county governments, as well as done work with Verizon and Disney and some of the largest power companies in the world. Not just in our country, but in the world. And so I've done a lot of this in sales and marketing and speaking and presentation and training on that. I do run my own firm. We have a virtual assistant membership program. We train on social media. We also build custom AI task agents for clients, which are kind of like a robot employee, which is a lot of what we're going to talk about today. However, that robot still needs monitored and touched and checked on by a real human. So there still is a bit of human touch. And then everyone thinks, oh, well, once you build a robot, it's free forever. Well, no, there also are some costs. So I will show you and share with you as we go through the presentation again today some of the things you really need to think about if you're going to put your sales on autopilot, and what that entails and what to think about and what choices that you have. And I'm only giving you just a few of the choices. I mean, there are literally thousands of AI tools out there at this point that you can use to do all kinds of specific things. And so I'm trying to give you the easiest and the best and the most affordable to start with. So if you have questions, Bunky's going to keep his eye on the chat for us. So please feel free to interrupt me. You can't throw me off my bicycle. It's not my first rodeo. Um, you pretty much can ask me anything at any time, and I'll go right back into everything as we were before. All right, so I'm going to begin to share my screen, and let's see if Zoom can catch up with me. I am gonna, let's see. Let's just see if Zoom caught up with me. Can you see my screen? Bunky, you're on mute if you're talking to me. Let's see.
I can see your screen.
Okay, good. I've closed everything that I can possibly close so that we can have some real movement with us here. We're going to go ahead and go through our slides. So we're talking about AI today. And how it can be used for sales growth. And it can be used for so many things. So that's the fun and exciting news. I always stretch, take a deep breath, and hope that all the good information comes out and that you're able to receive it. And you're able to let all the good information in, that it feels clear and helpful. We are going to avoid the confusing. This is important. Be ready to revise any system, scrap any method, abandon any theory if the success of the job requires it. So here's the important thing, right? Is we need to create systems, but we need to test and track them. So if they're not yielding the results we want, that is when we reevaluate the system. And as I get into this and as we start, I want you to imagine if you've ever seen a really large, elaborate domino setup, maybe on a video or something, you watch someone set up many dominoes with bridges, and it taps into a ball that rolls down a funnel and a circle that taps the next domino. Those kinds of elaborate setups where people build all these really cool things that the next thing connects to the next thing that connects to the next thing that makes it all move. That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're building. It's about different automated tools that connect and communicate with one another. I always like to take a thank you moment for the people who had me here. The Women's Business Center is such a great resource. Maryland Capital Enterprises is amazing. SBA, SBDC, all of the wonderful organizations, economic development, all these great people who support us and provide these kinds of training and resources and information. We want to thank you. And away we go. All right, so some of the things we're going to cover are some of the differences between, because truthfully, automation AI, if you would, has been around for a very, very long time. And do you have any idea just how long? And I should have looked this up. MailChimp, for example, has been out, right? That's been with us a super duper long time, and it became this automated way to send out large amounts of emails versus one at a time. So, really, anything that takes us from doing something super manual and labor and cumbersome to building it out much quicker. So there's a lot of stuff that's been around a while. Zapier has been here for a very long time. And it is a way to connect different softwares or tools that you use so that they can talk to each other, so they can do more than the function of just the software, right? So then they become this AI task agent because they are performing multiple tasks. Right. And I want you to see some two of the really big ones right now in the space, not for AI task agents, but just AI tools in general that are great support for your sales are ChatGPT and DeepSeek. Um, DeepSeek is 100% free, and I'll give you a little more breakdown on ChatGPT has a free version, which is also free, but there's also a paid version. And then there's some differences between when you would use the two. So I want to help you with that as well. And then some of the different things, if you hadn't imagined, what could an AI task agent or an AI tool actually do for you? And of course, we're leaning towards marketing and sales kinds of actions here. And then some practical steps of how you would set one up is what our goal here is to cover. So away we go. So some traditional things that have been around. One is and funnels. Let me just explain that kind of concept too. Funnel is simply a path. It's a journey. So if someone is coming to check you out, and maybe you've made a post on social media somewhere, and then they're able to put their name. The person loves what you wrote about, and you send them to a link that gives them an opportunity to put their name and their information in, right? That can then lead them to a thank you page that leads them to your website. Or maybe you have a pop-up like that. Maybe you lead them to your website in the very first step of the funnel, and on that website is a pop-up page that takes their name and their email and their information so that they're signed up for your newsletter. So now they're going to begin to receive a drip of your newsletter, or maybe they're going to get a thank you gift, which is, the 10 things you should know about. I saw someone here for church, their church organization, maybe the 10 things you need to know about how our church can serve you, or resources we have for our community, or whatever you want to gift them. And then it becomes this once a week or once a month um, drip of an email that gives them something new and valuable and interesting and inspiring that makes them want to stay in your community. Now, them putting their name and email address in is the first step to this being not spam, right? So the very first reach out, say via social media to grab their interest, or a one email with a link in it that gives them a gift. And you can send them one email, you know, to invite them into the community, to invite them to opt in. You just have to be careful, because in the old days you can manually send an email, and I'd say, once a month if they haven't responded, or once a quarter, or twice a year. You could reach out to someone and say, we'd really love to see if we can support you in some way. Here's our free gift link, or our information if you'd like to receive more regular communication from us. But those emails based on spam compliance, depending on where you are and what you're doing, need to be manual, and until They get to be automated once that person raises their hand and says, yes, I'm into this. And I'd like to receive more. So that's pretty important. I use a really great, I have a link on this page. I'm not sure if you can see it. All of our faces are covering it up for me. Can you see the whole slide, Bunky, or are there things
I
that,
see I see the whole slide
okay, good.
with a yeah, down at the bottom you have
Yeah, I use a tool that has everything there. It's my CRM system. It tracks my people. It creates my funnels. It creates my websites. It creates text messages. It has a social media scheduler in it. It has my calendar links in it. It has products. It has a place for um courses, online courses. It has a community page that you can build so that you can have all your community members in there talking almost like your own little social media platform. It has everything. And it also has live human being video based support. Um, so if you ever want to, it's a version of Go High Level, if you've heard of Go High Level, but it's got better support than I've ever seen. You can literally Monday through Friday get on a Zoom calendar with them, and they will fix something for you, help you do it, teach you how to do it, explain it to you, and support you in a way I've never seen before. And it's a low monthly fee. I love them. So if you want to know more about that or get introduced to them, I'd love to share that for you. But just find whatever one works for you. There's a million out there. There's Kajabi and Thinkific, and there's all kinds of funnel tools out there. This just happens to be the one I use, and like, because I like support and I like real human support. I know we're talking about AI and robots, but there are times when you really want to just talk to someone and say, explain this to me, and why is this not working? And and have a human conversation. I believe that we can have a little bit of both. So workflows and automations. I'm going to give you a little bit more of an explanation of that. So a workflow automation is inside a software when the task, like we talked about, automatically happens, but it's many, many things. So for example, you can program an AI task agent to go out into Google every day at, six, so you can do it on a cycle every 12 hours or every 24 hours. Go out on Google, find what's trending and what's inspirational. It has to meet all these parameters. It has to be trending, inspirational, nice, can't be political, it can't be, you give it all the rules, and create and put that information into a spreadsheet, and then create a social media post about it, include the hashtags, include this, and then add it to my website as a blog, and include it in part of the newsletter, and it'll do all these things, right? And move a copy of it to a Google Share folder, and email and notify Valerie, because she is responsible for whatever part of the process she's responsible for. So it will do all these things to keep your team informed, to place things in documents, to um, anything you'd like it to have. And say someone buys something or donates to your organization, you can tell it to send you, so the trigger is the donation, right? They click the button on your website that said donate now, and they put money in. That's the trigger. That's the, oh, something important happened, right? And then they get marked inside your database system as a person who donated money, because these are people you're going to want to nurture differently, possibly, right? And give them different love. So you have a tag that you could pull a report within your system to see everyone who ever gave money, whether it was $1 or $1,000, right? And then you're going to get an email to you internally and the team, as many team members as you like, that says, hey, somebody gave us money. Let's all celebrate and do a dance, and then that person's going to get an email and say, thank you for your generosity. You're going to be, receive wonderful, amazing things 10 times fold, right? For your kindness. And here's what we're going to do with the money. And we'd like to continue to send you updates and information on how our community is supporting, can support you and the community using your donations or whatever, right? So all these wonderful things can happen that normally a human being would have had to do, right? So these are workflows and automations. This is the power of AI. And this is what it would look like inside that kind of real system that I was talking about, right? So the trigger is the thing that happens that, oh, somebody filled out the form and sent us money. That's the finger pushing the first domino, right? That's the trigger. And a trigger can be anything. It can be a time, it can be a number of hours, it could be an action, it could be someone fills out a form, someone makes a payment, someone engages on a social post. Like, it can be a trigger, could be whatever you decide it to be, as long as you can get the tool you're using to talk to whatever is pushing that domino down, right? And then the next thing that happens in the flow, once the trigger and the bell goes off, we've got something. Then a tag is then I always add a tag. That's always my next move. That's not everyone's, but my next move is always to say, let's put a label on this person to say they like this, they do this, they want this, they are interested in this, so that I can help them better based on what they want, right? If they've pushed over one of my dominoes, they're telling me I want that thing, right? And so you need to know and be able to sort your people and your community. But what do they want? Do they want parenting classes? Are they looking for more community group sessions? Are they looking for an excursion and a retreat, a journey? Are they interested in music in your organization? What do they care about? I feel like you need to keep them sorted. Because then you can serve them better. And then there's like an internal bell. Always send yourself a note in your email that says, hey, and put the subject line to say, hey, this just happened. And then always give them a thank you email. And then you can wait 24 hours, or these are things that are going to happen before something happens. So if they're going to come to maybe a virtual webinar, you want to maybe make sure then they get another email or a text message 24 hours before, and then 15 minutes before, so that they have the link or what have you, right? So that's what one of those journeys looks like. And inside each of those boxes, if you'd actually clicked it, you'd be able to see the details of the email, or the details of the trigger, or all of that is set up. Now, Zapier was from back in the day when you were using 6 different softwares. You had a CRM that kept track of your people. You have a massive email like a MailChimp or a Sendinblue or some sort of email system that sent your emails. Then you had your Google Sheets and your research over here. And then you had your social media posts. So if you're still working with 16 different softwares that do all the things instead of one under one umbrella like I'm using, then you needed something like a Zapier to talk to, so that the softwares could talk to each other, so that when you manually put a new person in your CRM system, you could come over here to email to MailChimp to tell it to, hey, send this person an email, or whatever the system was, right? Always making sure you're getting opt-ins for emails and following all the compliance rules. I'm just trying to give examples. So these are other tools that are similar to Zapier. But what happened was, Zapier is a wonderful tool. However, it also can be really expensive. But it's been around a long time, right? And so was another concept or another tool called If This Then That, right? So it's basically along the ideas of this, if this is going to happen, then that's going to happen. But tagging that together to make it a lot longer path is now what we have this ability to do with the exciting advancements of AI and all these different tools, right? Because then this can happen, and then that can happen, and then this can happen, and then that can happen. And I mean, we really can build it out as complicated and as long as our imaginations are truly the only limit in what is happening now in the world. Um, so really think about what your end game is and what you'd like to achieve, and map it out on a piece of paper, right? Take yourself on a little trip and a little journey. Where do you want your people to go? What do you want them to see? What do you want them to experience? How can you make that happen? And then you can think about what tools and softwares that can make that happen. And I'm going to help you with some of your creativity, and hopefully you'll get excited about some of this as we go. So ChatGPT became all the rage. It still is all the rage, and people have been shouting about it. But it's been around for a bit, and now there are many, many. It is its popularity has inspired the software creation of thousands and thousands of tools that can automate different things, some very specific. And it's really this interesting design of software that can remember some of your conversations and learn some things about you, and then begin to understand how to brainstorm with you, and how to support you in different tasks that you might want to complete. But ChatGPT, one of the things to know about it, it's very much about the narrative. It's very good at that. It's good at helping you write an article, write a blog, write a thought, have some brainstorming. It's very conversational, right? That was its original design. And there's some other tools out there that are more mathematical, engineering, software building, technical, and they were designed with that more in mind, right? So, so from just putting and in ChatGPT, it has to be prompted every time. And even though it can remember some things, for example, I was creating images and I had to constantly tell it the same things. And if I'm making many, many images of that are all going to have very similar rules, right? Well, the person in the image needs to be far away, so that you can see more of the environment. Only put in um, added decoration that are appropriate for the holiday if you're doing holiday pictures, because I created a couple of ChatGPT pictures for different holiday for social posting. And at the base of my Christmas tree were pumpkins instead of presents, right? That's how ChatGPT decided. And I said, no, 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 that's not right. And so what you can eventually tell it is, okay, you can see some of the rules I keep giving you. I keep repeating myself. Let's create, and this is a true story. I told ChatGPT, create a GPT, which is something that always remembers all the rules. So instead of every time I type the prompt in, I had to write all the rules and a very long, detailed prompt every time I was telling it to do something. Or it would sometimes get it wrong. Sometimes it would get it right and remember what I'd mentioned before, and sometimes it wouldn't. But when you build a GPT, then you're building an instruction manual for it to perform a certain task and remember all those rules so that you don't have to put them in at that extent of detail, right? It remembers all the rules. And you can tell it to update its rule memory. So if you're creating something and it does something you don't like, and this is something I want you to always remember, you can tell it, hey, add this to the GPT's instructions and rules and remember this. And so now you have this tool, and I actually and it'll actually build it for you. It not only built it for me, it also designed a logo for me, and I'll show you a sample of one of mine. And one of the ones I created was, I want to respond a certain way and engage on social media posts to support other people that I'm in communities with, so that their posts get good engagement. We all kind of help each other with this. But I wanted to make sure I was following all of LinkedIn's rules, so I had it look up all the rules and add that to the GPT. And then I have a certain voice that I'm warm, I'm supportive. I pull out something specific in the post itself that I liked about it. I ask a question. So I told it, look, I need a GPT that will do all of this, that all I have to do is copy and paste a blog, copy of a blog or an article in here, and you're going to give me the right things to say. You're going to tell me which, it even tells me which, emotion to put. Is this a celebration? Is this a support? Is it a heart? Is it a insightful? So that I don't have to think about anything. And now I do read it to make sure it is my voice, and I do sometimes tweak it. But it's really made it so that I can do more to support others than I could on my own. And now you don't have to watch every YouTube video to figure out how to custom create your own GPT. You can literally just tell ChatGPT to, based on what I'm trying to do here, build it for me, and it will. It will go in and it will build it for you, and there it shall be. And it'll give you a logo for it and everything. Um, and I love that. So it's about giving it, it's about being very, very specific in your instructions. And I find this is a fascinating and kind of exciting thing, because I'm a believer that we do create our own lives. We manifest our own joys and successes in life. And in order to do that, you must know where you want to go. And not just Hawaii. If you're planning a trip, I want to go to Hawaii. Well, my travel agent will look at me and say, well, what island? Which one do you want to visit? And what resort do you want to stay at? And let me tell you, there's these 5 or 6 resorts here. Which one do you prefer? What are you looking for? How do you want to get there? Do you want to travel by boat? Do you want to travel by plane? Like, there's all these things, and you have to give it these really specific instructions. And it really helps us get clarity on what we want. And that is the key to writing really great prompts when you're talking with ChatGPT. But never fear, you can tell ChatGPT what you're trying to achieve, and then ask it to write the ideal best prompt to achieve that. And it will write the prompt that you need to put into it so that it can spit out exactly what you want. That cracks me up, that it can help you use it. You simply have to ask if you don't know how to do something. It'll even help you with the more complex AI task agent, which is an N8N model, but much more cost effective, much more reliable, and can do so many more things than some of the other tools that you can use that are a bit simpler. So Zapier is sort of like building a custom AI task agent that has everything kind of already preloaded in it. It can connect to many, many, many things very easily. Make is the kind of next step of easy, and then N8N is a bit more difficult, but can do a lot more. It also is the most affordable solution. So it's all about triggers and deciding where you want it to go and what you want it to do and what the journey is. That is always your first step. I know I'm talking a lot of different softwares and tools, but just make it simple for yourself. Decide, what do I want it to do? And you should probably have a list. You should have a list of things you want it to do, and you should have a list of journey and experiences you want your people to have before they get to whatever that sale is, whether that sale is donation, joining your community, buying something from you, making a call for a one-on-one discovery. What does the sale journey look like? Is it getting on your calendar? Is it making an appointment? Is it having someone come out and check your house to see if having a sunroom added to your building is what they really want? Having a consultant come out in person? Is it getting them to make a phone call, or is it getting them to give you your phone number so you can make a phone call? You have to decide what is a sale for you, right? What is the sale that you want the tool to make for you so that you can take it to the next level? Because I'm a bit of a believer that except for some like online courses and some easier, simple things that you can actually create a human video as part of your workflow where you talk to the person and get them through. You're eventually inviting them to something where you're there. It's a virtual meeting, it's a phone call, it's a something where they're, especially if they're releasing any significant amount of money, they're going to have a discovery call with you or a consultant on your team. They're going to talk to someone. So what do you do to get them there? And yes, there are AIs that can talk to someone. The other thing that's super important, in my opinion, is the integrity of humanity and us as humans. So if you are using automations, that's why you get someone to opt into a form. They're clear that they're going to get an auto email. They got that. They know that. If you're going to use AI voice technology and dialers and people who are calling that sound super human and can answer just about any question. They even have these human robot voices doing things like clearing their throat and taking a breath and pausing and hemming and hawing. So it's very difficult to not know that it is an AI task agent or AI caller. My opinion is, and I may or may not reflect the opinions of MCE or anyone else that's running this show, but my opinion is that we should be transparent when we're using those. That if someone is in your community talking to an AI task agent, you that is revealed to them. Transparency, I think, is hugely important. People don't mind actually interacting with AI and automation in your community if they know that that's what they're doing. I think being clear and being honest and being transparent about that is a really important step and where things are going to go with AI in the future. So if you do use and end up looking into tools like that, and I have some like that, then make sure you're considering that as your strategy. I do have links for Make and N8N. You can get free accounts for both of those. They do have paid options, and we're going to talk about how far the free accounts can take you. This way, you can at least play and test with them. It's great for me if you use your affiliate links because I get some love from the platforms if you ever upgrade in the future. Again, that's another transparency thing. If you're sharing an affiliate link, I always share that I'm going to get a little love if you use this link because that's just a good way to run business, in my opinion. All right, so Make and N8N are kind of what takes it to the next level. Don't let this image scare you. So this is like one of those domino games that I was talking about, right? The schedule trigger is here. It knows that once it goes, it's supposed to take a look at these things. And then it's going to come over here and actually take the information from here and build. They're called faceless videos that have an AI voiceover and images based on what we told them we want it to look at daily that's trending, that is inspirational, kind, joyful messages, what's happening in the world that we could add to our social media and do a little video with copyright free music so that music that we're allowed to use and share with a voiceover that you'll probably need a tool that will cost something. 11 Labs is one of the ones that are pretty popular, and images on Pixabay and other sites that are copy free again. Like you have to give it all these instructions so that it also you're compliant because you're responsible, right? It's your business. If you post a video that your robot makes out on social media somewhere, you need to make sure it's using music that's allowed. It's using words and brands that are allowed. It's using images that are allowed, that because some things are owned by people and then there's fines and issues, and so we have to run our business responsibly, and we need to think about that when we're building things. And then you can have it run into a scheduler and then schedule it and connect the scheduler to all your social sites, and then the scheduler knows to go push it out on all the following platforms. Now these platforms down here don't work with the scheduler. So the robot has to talk to something else And then it can send it to all of these platforms that can be connected and communicated with differently, right? So some things will work with the software you have and it can send it out to 10 things. Some things don't, I don't know if you've ever noticed this with your social media scheduler. There isn't one out there I've found yet that actually has every social media platform under the sun in it, right? And so if you want it to auto schedule or work with that, then you have to get the what's called an API code to connect to that software and that social platform so that the robot can then go and put and post and schedule something on that platform because it doesn't play nice with your social media scheduler platform. And if I'm talking about anything that's a little bit too big or feels too hard or you're not quite getting, please just raise your hand and I'll try to simplify it a bit more or explain a little more. And then this here gives you all this tracks how all these are doing. So this has instructions over here on this side to say, okay, now that these have all gone out for the month, go back and look how many reposts, how many engagements, are people liking it? Is it getting some traction? Which ones get more traction? Which ones get less? Because then you'll have a report to say, okay, remember in the very beginning that post with Henry Ford to say we need to think about throwing out and scrapping and starting from scratch any system we're using. Just because we built something, now we need to pay attention to the results. Are we getting the results from this path and this journey and this automation that we created that leads us to more calendar appointments, new community members, more people signing up for our newsletter, whatever the goal is, right? More people calling us, more people giving us our number so we can call them, more people having a discovery call with us. Whatever the thing is you're trying to achieve, think about that. And then you need to evaluate it after a certain period of time, after a week, after 2 weeks, after a month, after once a quarter, twice a year, at the end of the year, look at everything you've done. If you don't have a system for that, then you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and nobody knows what's sticking. You're not even going back to the wall to see how many pieces of pasta stayed, you know? And so throw spaghetti at the wall, then you're walking away and no one's ever looking at it again to see if anything's stuck. That makes no sense, right? Well, also makes no sense to throw perfectly good pasta at the wall, but that's beside the point. It's a saying. I didn't make it up. I'm too young for that one. I don't get credit for that ancient saying. So now how do you decide what tool are you going to use? I'll tell you, the very first tool I gave you, that automation booster, it's a white label version of Go High Level that you may hear so much about out there, is probably the simple. It has built-in workflows and automation, the easiest to approach. Plus, it has all the hand-holding help that you could possibly need to get started than any of this. But if you're really ready to take the bull by the horns and do some of the next things, which one is going to help you? Zapier, I'm going to tell you, super easy, much more expensive. I'm ruining the punchline of the movie. Okay, spoiler alert. Make is in the middle, and it does the most and is the most affordable. But I'd say in most cases, it is doable, and there's about a bazillion fantastic YouTube videos training people how to do this and great training within the system itself. However, I mean, I get it, and I've taken some of the certifications and I've taken all the classes, and I hire someone who's an expert in this and tell them, I wanted to do this. And I have a team that does that, and my clients hire us so that I can get them with my expert and they know it does this. I like to know the basics. I like to understand, but I am a big vision person. I see the path, and then I want somebody else to build it because, it's painful to do it myself. But I like that for laundry too, and I understand how laundry works. Rather pay someone else to cook and do the laundry too, just being honest. So like I said, if you want access to my slides, because there's too much here for you to gather, you could take a photo if you'd like, but this just kind of breaks it down because all of these are going to eventually charge you by task. And if you eventually get 1,000 people on your newsletter, and there is a workflow and a task that goes with that for Zapier for all 1,000, and then 5,000, and then 10,000, you're talking a lot of little micro tasks, and you're talking every step of the path. Every time this automation tool does something that supports you, it counts it like a little ticker. Click, click, click. The meter is running, people. And they're all like, oh, we don't have to hire humans anymore. We'll just pay these people. Well, Zapier can cost you well easily if you have any size list, 500 to 1,000 people on your list, you're talking a very big chunk a month, where many of these actions, to be quite honest, inside that one tool with a very low monthly cost and free and help included in the pricing, is way, 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 way less than this, right? And the execution and the tasks that can be done are far more and way less with NAN. And they're kind of in the middle with Make. But Make, don't let it deceive you just because their monthly fees are minimal. Their actions, they still are charging and easily can lead up into the hundreds a month also. So you need to be careful. And then I kind of gave you a little bit more of a chart of this. And then a lot of this doesn't even open up, and the things you can't do, the things you can do with N8N aren't even considered until you get to the enterprise level of some of these other platforms. Let me just tell you what enterprise level is code for. We won't give you the price on our website because it's that high, and we think you're a big multi-level $1 million company, right? Or a mid-size, huge, large company. They don't think you're a solopreneur. It's like when you get market price on the menu, right? You're like, what is that really? I need to know. What is that today? What price are you going to make it up to be? That's enterprise and some of these, and a lot more than the crab cake on the marketplace thing. So, I tried to give you an idea of some, you always pay for ease, right? Simplicity over, these are pre-built integrations. These, and so are many of these, but they don't have as many as Zapier does, right? And it still has the ability for you to customize it if you get to the right plan, right? So then again, you're upping and upping your prices, where this can be integrated in an API sense with just about anything that has an open access to do that. But I do feel like you're looking at getting a little support to make these. Now, after they're made, here's the cool news. A virtual assistant or someone for just, very few hours for very few dollars a month, a quarter, or a year can monitor these to make sure that all the systems are talking to each other and it's functioning. It's software, people. Guess what? Technology doesn't always work right. You have to check on it. Somebody needs to babysit the robot you built. And so you need to think about that, right? It's all a good thing. None of these things are negative. I hope, and I hope it's not coming across that way. They're just things for you to think about in your plan, right? Like when we're going to go on an amazing picnic and it's going to be by a lake and it's beautiful, but we're going to want to put a blanket down because there's grass and there's no picnic tables. That's not a bad thing. We just need to remember to have a blanket in our case. And we might want to use some holistic, natural, healthy ways to keep the mosquitoes from biting us, right? Because there's going to be mosquitoes out there, but it's a beautiful sunny day and we're by a glistening lake and we're having a picnic. Do we not want to go just because we need to remember to use some sort of bug repellent and put down a blanket? No, of course we want to go. This is a great thing. This is an amazing opportunity for your businesses. You want to do this. You just want to have a plan and you want to pack your picnic supplies appropriately. Otherwise, you're sitting in itchy grass and you're getting bit by mosquitoes and you just want to go home, right? Have a plan to make it a beautiful experience that gets you to the results that you want. Now, I talked earlier about chat versus DeepSeek. these are both things you can put in a prompt. You can set up a free account. You put in a prompt and a question or a thing, and then it gives you a result, right? That's what ChatGPT is. Now, I mentioned earlier, and I'm terrible for spoiler alerts today, that the reason DeepSeek was and how it was created is it's much more efficient for logic, for puzzle solving, for mathematics, for software design, for create the steps of what I need to do to build an N8N, and it'll tell you. And it's really good at that. ChatGPT can do some of these things, but it makes more mistakes. Okay, so just remember, AI makes mistakes. Somebody's got to check these mistakes. Somebody got to make sure they're following all the laws for your business. Because going, Your Honor, I don't want to pay the fine from this company because they own the image. I didn't do it. My AI robot did it. That is not going to fly. I do not believe. So you have to think about things, right? So that you're following all the rules, and that you're using tools the way you should. You must check and verify your facts. You want to make sure the humanity still stays in your comments, your articles, the things you're writing and creating and producing. Just because you can do it AI doesn't mean it doesn't also need a human monitor, right? Um, yeah. Okay. So cost and accessibility. There is some cost for ChatGPT. And when you tie or communicate, have your robots go look up something in ChatGPT or use DeepSeek as a tool as part of their journey, because you can do that. You can have them talk to each other. There is a cost from these organizations, even the free one, per million tokens. So that's like a little task or a little action. 14 cents. Okay, it's not a lot, but it's there. And people, if you aren't aware, don't you want all the information? Or do you want, and this is where that comes with the hidden costs. You don't want a hidden cost. You want to be aware of what you're walking to, eyes wide open of what you're stepping into and how you're going to use it. Does it mean you shouldn't go because there's a $2 parking fee at this beautiful park? We're going to go have our picnic? No, of course you don't mind paying the $2 parking fee. It pays the guy who picks up the trash in the parking lot. It buys the toilet paper for the toilet you're going to get to use that isn't an outhouse or a porta potty at the park. You're good with the $2 parking fee, but you need to know it's there. Should you be aware? Should you be informed? Absolutely. That's what I'm sharing with you here. Okay. So think math problems, really difficult problems, DeepSeek, and it's free to use when you're just using the prompting. Now, if you're tying it to actions, then there is a cost. And ChatGPT is more conversational and more writing based, and yeah, and it's more wordy. It's the wordy of the different users. Okay. And then there's some background of where they are coming from, and culturally, where this one was developed in China, and this one is more dominant in the Western markets here, global used. I give you some more great details on this, and how to use it, and why to use it, so that you can make a decision on, based on what you're trying to achieve. Again, which one do I want to plug my prompt into and work with. Hopefully, at this point in the game, you can see there's some great benefits on using AI, technology, automations, systems, tools, software, things that talk to each other, so that you can grow your business and scale in a way that is very difficult with just our two hands, right? And the 24-hour clock that we're given. And guess what? The other thing is, truthfully, an AI task agent doesn't need to sleep. They don't need a coffee break. They're never going to whine at you and say, I don't really want to do this task. It's boring. It's stupid. They're going to say, okay, cool. Let's do this, and move on to the next thing. They're never going to give you any back talk about it. Hey, that's a big deal for a mom of seven. We don't want any back talk. No upper lip. So, So nonstop and working, and it can, if given clear directions, really make fewer mistakes, and get things done quicker. My husband laughs, so he says I'm on a mission to break ChatGPT because I gave it such a big project one day. It actually told me that it'd get back to me in 7 days with the results. So, you can, so sometimes I have to reel back what I want to achieve and say, okay, fine, let's break this down in smaller pieces so we don't break the tool. But can you imagine? I really did give it a project so large that it responded, I need 7 days. Anyway, that's true story. Um, and so, I do give some examples, and we talked about this before. If someone comes to your website, they fill in the free gift or pop-up form, you want to send them a thank you email, you want them added to your system, you want someone on your sales team notified so that they can be reached out. Maybe you want it to go find their social media link on Facebook or LinkedIn. Maybe you want it to see if they have a business. Maybe there's a research tool that the library offers that you could have the tool check that to see how many employees they have, how many years they've been in business. Are they privately held? Are they publicly held? Or do they have any jobs posted on any of the job posting sites right now? Are they hiring? Like, you can have it do so many things. I know I'm hurting your brain again. I tried to make it simple. So here is, and again, ask me for my slides. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find even if you're watching this video months and months from now. Jessica Koch on LinkedIn, almost impossible not to find. JessicaLKoch.com is my website. You can get the slides because this gives you kind of a step-by-step of what do you want it to do. You can send it out into the world to find leads based on a certain thing. You can find people who are and now this is all legal and public, like things that are publicly out there on the website. If you're looking for leads for a certain topic, you can have them go out in the world on the wild web and then add them to spreadsheets and find the information. You can even send it to tools that find an email address or verify the email address. Um, you can organize them by hot or cold. I mean, maybe you're looking for, maybe you work with plumbers. I thought I saw someone on here that works was sort of like a accounting or a CPA firm that does work with a certain kind of, business. Maybe it's contractors or plumbers or electricians. You can have it. Find those people, find their websites, find whatever they share publicly with it, and then you can begin a reach out campaign to them. But you have to start with the human one, right? You really have to start with just one. You can't put them in your system and spam them. That is spam. But you can do a reach out. I mean, there has to be a first contact or you'll never know each other exists. Spam is not a one-time contact or a, twice a year contact to say, I'm still here. I haven't heard back from you yet. I would still like for us to do more. I would still like to share this resource of my newsletter for you or these tools with you. Here's the link to get that if you'd like it. I'd still like to invite you in. You can do that professionally and appropriately, and it's not spam. It's called communication. It's called trying to talk to someone, but it is spam if you just put them in your auto system and add them without their agreement to that. So again, just making sure you're following all the rules. If you want it to create an auto post content and put it somewhere, and it could be so many places. I mean, I know years ago, I mean, even just 2 or 3 years ago, I felt, oh my gosh, and I'm still strategic about it to this day, but there's so many social media platforms. Like, do you have any idea how many social media platforms? I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. I mean, we hear about like a 10 or 12 that are like the mainish ones that you've all heard the names of, but I could get you lists of thousands and thousands of platforms that are out there that you could be posting and putting information. And at one point that was ridiculously overwhelming. Now for you to have a goal by the end of next year or the year after, if you work with the right people and you organize things the right way, you could literally consistently be posting on 100 different sites a month, and that would be a reasonable possible goal. And that wouldn't take you a lot of time because you had a system and tools built to do it for you, for your business. Like what wasn't reasonable or felt reachable before is now in our grasp. I mean, that would have cost, you would have been paying someone whatever salary annually to try to manage that, and it would have been almost too much for them. And that would have been their sole job in the organization. Now that's not the case. Really, we are truly limited by our imagination. We can turn blog posts into video. It can automatically create the blog posts and then turn them into videos with voices and music and images. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be us in front of the video, right? All those pictures you captured that your church or your organization had at the big picnic or event they had can instantly become blog posts and other posts and videos, and have music and words about what people received while they were there, or the wonderful joy they received, or how beautiful the day. All of this stuff can then draw people in to grow your community so you can serve even further. That's the whole point here, right? That we can serve even further, and in ways that we just it was difficult to imagine before. But I urge you to take some small steps towards this. To don't run, don't be afraid. Don't worry if you have a plan, if you have a blanket and some bug repellent, you're going to be okay. It can be a beautiful, wonderful experience as the results flow in. It doesn't have to be scary, but have a little bit of knowledge under your belt. Have a little bit of information. Go in eyes wide open, and take baby steps and get the help where you can, and just start with one thing, making sure that you've automated at least one thing. And then when that's working well, then automate something else, and then something else, and something else. And by the end of a year, if you automated one thing, you know, every 2 weeks, that would be 25 things you've automated in your business in the year, right? you know that could be a really big difference in your life and in your success as a business. So this hopefully doesn't look as scary as it did before. I bring it back because I know it's a scary picture at the beginning. I'm hoping at the time we get to this point in the conversation, you're feeling like, okay, I could build that dominoes path someday. I'll just start with these two pieces, and then I'll add these two pieces, and then I might look at these pieces down here. You don't have to build it all together. There is a lot of terminology, even as you watch YouTube videos or other trainings, or even the trainings within the platforms for these different tools that I told you about. There's a lot of terminology. So I thought it would be nice for you. Again, I told you all the magic ways to get the slides, but I thought it'd be nice for you to have some basic vocabulary of why is this term or this acronym important? What are they talking about? What does it do? So I gave you some really good, um, useful ones that often stand out to someone new, right, at this. Um, because fine tuning doesn't mean what it means to the rest of us in the world outside of all of this AI, right? That's something else. I give you a few charts on this and some simplicity on it. I give you some easy stuff. And really, I don't want you to get left behind because um, you know, we're not going backwards. The future is forward, right? And it's not just about AI. It's also not it's about the agents that are going to be really working in that background and making you so unstoppable, and having a team that can support you with that AI. And virtual help is easier than it ever has been before. Whether you can afford an actual agency like mine, or really take a small training course. I offer one, there's other ones out there that'll help you go find, hire, and train and work with someone from that's brilliant from these other countries that is really available for just a few dollars an hour, not because they're not valuable, but because the dollar transition, right? Where it's a much higher value where they live. So we're not devaluing these brilliant people. We're able to provide them a livelihood that's very good where they are, but only a few dollars where we are. What a wonderful thing that our dollar is doing right now with that, so that we can get the support and help we need. Because I think unstoppable to me is a limitless amount of people that we can support, nurture, and help with our expertise, whatever that is, whether that's making sure no one has leaky pipes or making sure people have a wonderful community and place to come to and gather and share like thoughts and ideas, or if it's educational, or it's getting your books in straight so that all your taxes are good and all your finances are in line for your business so that you can grow. Whatever service you're providing, it's super valuable and people need you. And you can be the best version of you and provide the best service when you have systems set up that automate in your company and in your business. That's what I have for you guys today, Bunky. So we can go into questions.
Yeah, just recently there was a couple questions
Sure.
on your last couple slides that said, is this what people or influencers are using to build their platform as well?
Yeah, I mean, I do not think there's a single influencer out there that isn't supporting and serving their company and communicating. And some of them are still depends on their personality, but making a lot of live videos. But then they get their AI task agents to then take that live video and turn it into a blog and hack it into reels and chop it up into YouTube shorts and then create it into 500 other different ways. So they've cut one video and then they get their robots to do all these other amazing things with that in a journey and in a story and in a schedule and all automated. Right? It's really the only way. Take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to come out of, if you'd like, and I'm going to come out of being the genie behind the curtain here. Uh,
Eh,
and yeah, I absolutely would say I can't imagine there aren't any influencers who are not truly using this as a tool in one manner or another in their business, depending on how they decide to incorporate it. So,
we have one other said, can we call or email you for some assistance?
yes, of course. All my stuff is there. I will do a discovery call and have a conversation with someone. I have what's called an intimate getting to know you call. It's a small group version so that we can learn about each other. A small room of just a handful of people can, and then we can figure out if it makes sense to do more from them. Now, if we're actually brainstorming and building out your process, then there are some fees associated with that from my company. And I know sometimes if you get in the good graces and the budget allows it, um, Women's Center can sometimes offer you a bit of consulting or work with me or my team and building out
Yeah.
marketing plans and things. So that's up to the discretion of what's available. And I gift a lot of my time. Long before dollars were available, I've been gifting my time to this organization and to the business community and business owners and entrepreneurs to help them the best that I can.
I think we can probably assist some too there. Like you say, if
Depending on
yeah,
the funding cycle
right.
and what's available, that's an individual consultation with these brilliant people who help you so very much at MCE and the Women's Business Center. So, any more questions?
Now's the time.
I know, right? I am. I'd love for you to share anything that, if you don't mind, my favorite part and the most value I get is if you're able to unmute and just share something new you learned or something you enjoyed about the presentation. I'm gonna call out your names, and if you're able to talk, then say something, and if not, no pressure. Bunky, show them how easy it is. Did you learn anything new? What did you like about the presentation today?
Well, one thing I mean, I've learned a little bit about AI, as just working here, but
Mhm.
I found out there's a lot more that I need to know, and that I mean, it's changed. I mean, even from the very beginning, I,
Yeah.
when it first came out, I got on, I think it was Chat GPT,
Mhm.
and I mean, it was pretty basic,
Mhm.
and you know, and then now you look at what it's doing and all the different avenues that you can go, and it's
Mhm.
just mind-boggling, really, for
It is.
me.
It is our imagination that limits us. And getting in a good
Yeah.
brainstorm group there's a lot of good AI groups that everybody just kind of, oh, I figured out I could do this. Oh, I thought of doing this with it. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, I could use that too. Having these conversations and bringing our human brains together to brainstorm what this can do is helpful, because really it is our imagination that limits us. Val, I'm so grateful you've been on camera this whole time and with us. Do you do you have any questions or anything that you liked about the
I
presentation?
think Val
Yeah, I
has
do.
one.
I just put something in there actually about, do you have speaking engagements for smaller organizations who want more information about what you just told us about?
Yeah, I do talks all the time for organizations all over the world, actually. And I have I run a podcast, I interview
Okay.
guests, and I feature people. And I'm running a couple of big summits myself where I'm seeking speakers. And I get invited to speak to people's groups, communities, and organizations as well. So, and I do my best to work in their budget, and I've done some keynoting and some other things. So, yeah.
Okay.
So did you learn something new? Anything you liked?
Yeah, I learned a lot of new things. The cost of um
Yeah.
Yeah.
the AI stuff, I had no idea that they was cost a lot of things because I've been using like Copilot for
Mhm.
certain things on my computer.
Mhm.
I've been suggested to use Chat GPT. I'm kind of new at
Mhm.
looking at all the different things. And as Minister Dory said, in our church, we have business organization that also talked last session about IA stuff. So this is a
Mhm.
little bit more informal for me, more
Mhm.
information for me, added on to what I've already learned
Oh,
from the
good.
ministry group.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
How about you, Joyce? Anything that you enjoyed or learned or would like to ask?
Well, first of all, forgive me for the background noise. I have my grandchild here.
Please. I have
Um,
9 grandchildren.
Yeah.
but like Val was saying, we go to the same church. And I think that first of all, for me personally, I did have a business. A lot of the information is overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, what do I really need? And you definitely, to me, would need someone, because I'm not an IT person,
Mhm.
to kind of help you map out the processes of what you need, and then starting with the basics and then building on, oh, it does that, I like that, maybe 6 months later, adding more tools to it.
Exactly.
I also see the benefits from the church, and so I
Mhm.
definitely will be talking to someone that could possibly um make some decisions about where to go from there. For
Mhm.
example, we have training, we provide Bible classes,
Mhm.
and I could see where, you sign up for a class to take,
Mhm.
and you can opt in if you want to receive further information. And as a result of that, then when the next session comes up for classes, Bible training, then we would just send you a link that would allow you to sign up versus handing you a book,
Mhm.
after service with all the different trainings, but you're able to get it both ways possibly.
Yeah.
So looking at it from that standpoint, as well as say the seniors go on a trip. So
Mhm.
now, we can also, if you opt in, like you said, if you opt in, we can let you know of all the upcoming trips that are coming for seniors. And so it's building a community, a strong community, staying connected
Mhm.
within the body. So I do see it from that standpoint, as well as I'm dealing with clients. I had a business, I had a salon, so I could definitely see how this could have been used possibly beyond constant contact and all these other things in terms of reaching out to potential clients as well as to potential cosmetologists or barbers, natural stylists, especially if they're already on the website or out there in social media world, to be able to grab their names. And because I was in the business for like 30 years. So then it was a matter of just mailing it out to the whole world and hoping it would hit on somebody's desk or somebody's mailbox that could use it. But this seems more
Focus.
target would be more finite. So yeah, I like it.
Oh,
I could talk for days. Let me just stop.
I know you guys are not on camera, but Gloria, did you have any questions or anything you learned or like to share that you liked about the presentation? Are you there with us, Gloria?
Yes, I'm here. I'm gonna have to re-listen to it because a lot of it's going over my head. So I need to go back and listen to this again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I get that. I do try to break it down simplicity. I try to give you terms and kind of a glossary and information, but it is a lot to swallow no matter how simplistically you try to break it down. I totally get that and I appreciate your comment. And I hope I'm just as funny and entertaining the second time you watch me.
I have a question.
Sure.
Well, God knows I love this. I've been using some things, but since GAG with GWB Insurance Group, since about 6 or 7 of my 1099 contractors, of course, had to go back to work. So now it's me, but I've been reaching out, or I need to call you because I'm trying to reach out to attract independent contractors or brokers to my company. And I have a large client base, but engaging with them, that's another thing. So I'm thinking about, you spoke on the virtual assistant, which is what I'm thinking I need. But I'm also trying to reach out to small business owners to introduce my retirement annuity products too. So those are some key things, but you touched on, I took quite a few notes and pictures. You touched on quite a few things that I'm really interested in talking about. But one main thing you spoke on, the automation booster. And now, is that free of charge?
No, it's a version of Go High Level and it runs $97 a month, but it is all the things you need. It is the email mailing system, it's the CRM system, it builds the funnels, your website can live there. You can have learning courses can live in there, communities can live there. It can also create all the automations and workflows, and there's no additional charge like when you're using Zapier for the if this then that, right? All that workflow I showed you, the tagging and the follow up, and it has a social media scheduler in it. And I mean, it can do a lot more things than you'll use at the beginning, but it also has that Monday through Friday Zoom calendar where you can get on with a live human being, just like we are now, share screen and say, I needed to do this thing and I can't make it work. Can you show me how, or can you fix it, or can you help me with it, or show me what to do?
Now, what's the difference between that and HubSpot? Because since I've lost a huge block of business with my federal clients, my revenue has decreased drastically. So what is the difference between
the
that?
cost for HubSpot. It's pretty pricey, isn't it?
Oh, I haven't used HubSpot. I just heard about it. I haven't used it.
It's significantly higher, I believe, than $97, especially for all the features. Like you can start out with some of these programs like HubSpot, Spot, and Zoho, and some of these others at a low, or Kajabi or whatever, at a lower cost.
Uh-huh.
As you grow or need all these other tools and bells and whistles, and you add it. I mean, I know people who are using Kajabi that are paying over $300 a month now,
Oh my.
and they're because they want it to have the affiliate program, and they want affiliate links, and they want it to do this, and they want to have a checkout card, and they want to use the calendar system, and they were able to cancel all of that and convert everything into, and now they're down to $97 a month. So
Oh, okay.
um it just is a lot more for a lot less, and you can expand and grow in it without having to expand and grow the price tag monthly.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'll look further into that. But
have-
yeah, I will be calling and emailing to learn a little bit
Sure.
more because since my staff has reduced drastically, I need to get my revenue back up. Thank
Put
you.
MCE in the subject line so that I know how I met you, and my team, when they check my email, will prioritize you. They know MCE stuff gets more priority. So,
Perfect. Thanks so much.
um,
Jessica, can I ask you a question? What was the name of the system that she mentioned that you said that does a string of things?
it does everything. Let me give you the link, because I do have an affiliate link.
Thank
for
you.
And that also obviously gives me a little love. um, let's see if I can grab it really fast. If you'll be patient with me, let's see. Here we go. Let's see if I can get it to, there we go. Nope, I don't know. There we go. Just 1 second. And if you decide you want a demo, I can actually even, I mean, this is my affiliate link if you decide you want to use it, but if you wanted a demo or to talk to someone, I can make an email introduction to the team there. I've been working with them for a long time, and personally email introduce you to them and give you the calendar link for you to book a demo time with them as well. I don't know if it's a Mr. or Mrs. Purnell, but if you had any questions, oh, there we go. There's your beautiful face. Lovely.
Hi, good morning. Um, so I've gleaned a lot from today on the thing that I think for me is just learning about AI and getting the basics of it. I heard about it actually from college students. Um, and so I saw the training and I was like, let me jump on. So this for me is the foundation, like it gives me a stepping stone. It gives me somewhere to go and what I'm looking for. And I too like that animation booster. So
Yeah,
thank you.
in the
And
chat. Yeah, it's fantastic. If you've heard of it rolling around out there, it's a version of Go High Level. What Go High Level did was built this big software system, and then they said, oh, if you want to be an agency or an organization that manages this, you can buy the white label and then change the name, and promote it to your community. And the guy who owns this automation booster builds lots of other softwares, has this really supportive team, is just really engaged and involved with his customers, and you can actually reach them and talk to them, where that isn't the case with others that I've worked with or seen. So that's my experience. And like I said, I can personally even email introduce you to a team and give you a calendar link where they even give you a demo for free and walk you through it and talk to you about it and the details of it some more. So I just really love their commitment to using technology and automation, but human service, right? A real human on a Zoom to share your screen and say, I need help with this, show me and help me get this created. What do I do? And have them be there and help you Monday through Friday. You book the time that works for you. Use a calendar. Like that's fantastic, and that's what we should be having in our world, right? The human relationship merged with this automation. I think that's the beautiful symphony of opportunity for us to scale and grow and do great things.
thank you.
Well, since you guys are still here, I will take 2 minutes and show you, because I didn't show you, my GPT that, so here's ChatGPT, right? And so we could say, I'm going to say this. We'll see what happens. Remember my past photo conversations with you. Make a picture of me by the beach. That's where I love to be. And then it's going to think about making this picture of me. And why it does that I'm gonna come over here to another chat GPT because I'm just gonna try to confuse it, right? Like I said, my husband thinks it's my mission to break it. He said, "You just keep trying, honey." Like, I know, it's fun. So it's working on making a picture of me, but I don't want us to sit through the pain of it working. So I don't know why it didn't. Hang on. There we go. All right, so we have a new one here. Now, remember I told you I was having this conversation with it about doing replies to my LinkedIn post and engaging in other people's posts. Here's the GPTs, and I'll show you what's different about that, right? And then these are my GPTs. You can manually create one, but you can tell it in a chat. In a chat, I had it make this one for me. And it even created the logo for it, which just cracks me up. And it placed it here in my GPTs when it was done. And here it is. It's a social post coach for engagement. And that's the little logo it made for it. And then this, it tells you what it does, right? Because I'm in what's called a posting party, and LinkedIn doesn't love those because it manipulates the algorithm so that your posts get more engagement, and then and organically it gets seen more and things. So I want to follow all the rules. I'm a rule follower, right? So I told it to figure out how do we need to do this. So now all I have to do is go to any post inside LinkedIn. And it now remembers, based on our past conversations, all the things I told it to do. And so I can come here to my friend Yvonne, who I like and like to support, and I can copy this. And this GPT remembers all the rules, right? Remember, it's been trained to do all the things. And then I'm going to tell it, well, I'm not going to tell it anything. Let's just see what it does when I give it. And then now it's going to come up with a nice comment for me based on what she's talking about, based on all the rules I gave it before. And that's the difference between just using a conversation with ChatGPT and okay, see now, had I created a GPT of this conversation, it's forgotten of where my picture is. So now it says, okay, but can you upload a picture, right? And that's fine if I want to do that every time. But what if I want to make lots of photos all the time? Then I would want to come in here, and that's actually the next GPT. I'm going to have it build itself. I would come in here and tell it to make me a GPT, because I have all these rules from a past chat that I created and gave it, and it would have my picture and it would have all the rules that went with it, right? And then that picture would already be there, right? So we'll do that again and see if it comes up with something. And then here it gave me 5 comment options: varied length and varied vibe, right? And it gives me all the information that I need. And if I don't like something, I could tell it, oh, you know what, combine 2 and 3 as a comment. Don't forget, I like more emojis, and and oh, and what emotion should I choose? Add this to GPT instructions. Okay. And then it'll do all that work, right? It's going to go back, change its instructions. This is building. This will be done in a minute. So it's going to, create a picture of me at the beach, right? And this one's going to edit the comment I had, or I could have just used one of these comments, right? Oh, look, it added with curiosity. So then I would have used the curiosity emoji or whatever, or insightful. Look, this one says use this, or you can use celebrate, right? Like it gives me different things to use. Now this time it did. It merged 2 and 3, so it's story like and it's warm and friendly. It threw some more appropriate emojis in there, and it told me to use the insightful reaction because that fits the terms of the post. And now I can easily comment on 10 or 20 or 50 and post and engage and support people who support me versus just the slower moving process. And this is just about done. But I don't know. I just feel like that's the difference, right? Between just using ChatGPT one prompt at a time and then having it trained and build a really wonderful tool that remembers all your rules, especially if you find. So think about building GPTs for when you're building things all the time. Oh, I'm constantly coming in and asking it to do this. I'm always getting it to make images of me for social media throughout the day. So that's the image of me, and that's the me at the beach. And I could tell it that I want to be more in the background and I want more of the environment to show, right? And that was something I was constantly having to do. And I think, I don't know, do I look older there or there? I think this picture aged me. I'll have to have a conversation with ChatGPT about that. What I'm saying is, I was constantly, as I was making those social images, I was constantly having to tell it, I'd like to be a little more in the background, still seen and true to my image and my headshot, but I want to see more of the environment. I want, because I want room for social quotes and things like that when my team is using this bank of photos of me to put inspiring quotes or information on. And I don't want my big old head to be front and center and blown up in the front, right? So one of the things I'll do next is build a GPT with ChatGPT's help that will remember all these rules so that I don't have to keep asking it for all the same things. Um, you know, they say it's private. Someone asked, does ChatGPT store your information or share it with others? And who may request similar information? Um, I think it's very difficult to get the exact information because so many people approach it or have questions that are we ask questions differently as human beings. But there's going to be some things where yes, if it's pulling the web or doing a research or listing, plumbers in Alexandria, Virginia, if we were both looking for that, ChatGPT could come up with the same answers, but that's individually available to us. I can make my GPTs public or not public. When I create those GPTs, they can even be up for sale. Like there's a GPT store where you could pay a few dollars to use somebody else's that built something that does something. Does the world actually have access to all your chats and information? They say it doesn't. Could it be hacked? Could are they doing, what is ChatGPT really doing with it? I don't know. According to its rules, it says our stuff is private to us. It also says at this point in time, there's legally, we have the copyright to whatever we create. But I also have to make sure I tell it when it pulls images or does things that that it's only pulling ones that are copyright free, right? And doing things to follow the rules. So I still make sure I tell it that. So if you ever build a GPT, make sure you're telling it that too. And when you're prompting it, make sure you're telling it to follow all the rules and laws to protect your business. And I believe I log into my accounts. I think only and you can share, there's a share button. I don't know if you're aware of this. This is a helpful tool. There's a share button here that I can create a link and share a conversation I'm having with it, right? And then anyone who has this link can have it. But or you could post it out or, you know, whatever. So if you're having a conversation with it, you can make it public. So it's supposed to be that I'm logged into my account and these are my things, right? And then as far as the GPTs go, these are my personal ones. These are, you know, different popular ones. And like I said, there are some that are free to use, other people's. But if you use other people's, of course, they're going to have access to your information, right? Because it's going to be inside their GPT and they do own that. So, um, yeah, there's lots to decide about that. And we can only just be as cautious as possible. Now, I also have my team export all my information. So they move them all out into Word docs, and save them in Dropbox and my Google documents. But so that for some reason, these disappeared and stuff that I was doing disappeared inside ChatGPT, I'd still have all that result information, you know, all the images we're creating, we're putting in a Google Share folder from my marketing team to use for social media, you know, all that jazz. So I don't own that platform. I pay it monthly. You know, can I always have access to it? Could it get hacked? Could things be deleted? Could software break and us not have it? Yeah. So I back things up and I have my team copy and paste it into a, you know, a Google document, and we have a folder for that, and then we upload them into Dropbox, and we back them up on external hard drives, and you know, backup is a whole nother class.
Mhm.
But that's what I would say about that. I am being featured on someone's podcast this morning following this event. So I'd love to wrap it up for closing statements. And hopefully that was a little bit of fun for you to see some of the tool in action and kind of the difference between just prompting a chat GPT versus using a GPT that does a little bit more and can remember, can remember more and stores more. Um, I think that's all for today.
Right. Well, thank everyone for attending today, and you'll get a link to the recording of this, and
Save
you'll
the
have
chat. Yep,
you'll have
save
my
the chat.
contact information, and want to thank Jessica for all of this, all of her input. I mean, well, there was a lot to go through, but it was well worth it, though. Well worth it. So, anybody have anything else? All right. Well, thank you again, Jessica. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.